Bismillahi wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Bismillah. Welcome to the introductory session of the Writer's Block. And for those of you who are listening or watching this afterwards, and our sisters who are here now as well, initially the Writer's Block was a paid community, and we decided to transfer it and move it to something which is open for everybody. And the only criteria for joining is if you are a Muslim and you are a woman, and you don't even have to be a writer to be a part of it, because a lot of the way that we do things are it's very therapeutic. One of our main values as a nonprofit organization is community and also remedy. So we want to create a healing space, and healing can happen on so many levels, and writing is just one of the means that we use as a writing organization to allow that platform for everyone to join and enjoy as well. So with that being said, this session is going to be very simple. Like I said, it's introductory. I'm going to be talking about what expressive writing is. I'll be talking about the writer's block in itself, why we called it the writer's block. And also, we're going to have a sample session as well. And then you can have a glimpse of the handbook. There is a handbook which comes with this program. And the handbook will make everything much more clearer. Say, for example, if you were to lead a session as a member, you volunteered, the handbook will tell you everything you need to know in order to do it. So with that being said, expressive writing is something that is a form of writing, and it focuses on exploring and conveying our thoughts and emotions freely. There's not really strict writing rules when it comes to expressive writing. The whole point is to let yourself just let the thoughts flow. And it can come in so many ways. It can be poetry, it can be prose, it can be just journaling, it could just be random thoughts, a brainstorm, it can be anything. And that's the purpose. We wanted to keep it as open as possible. So, some key points about expressive writing, and just to reiterate, expressive writing is the mode that we use in the writer's block in order to move through writing blocks. And that'll be clearer, inshallah, as I explain what the writer's block is. So, with expressive writing, there's a focus on feelings. It delves deep into emotional responses to events or situations rather than just providing factual accounts, although you can also do that, but it's more about really a heart level of writing. And one thing that we have found as an organization is the more connected you are to your emotions and to your heart, and as women as well, the more powerful your writing can be. So another thing about expressive writing is that it's a huge freedom of expression. There's no limitations in grammar, style, or format. The goal is really purely to express yourself authentically without worrying about being correct. Now, one thing about writing is whenever we think about writing a book or we think about writing anything that is going to be shown to the world, there's this pressure that comes on us all about grammar, correctness. This should be written like this. The structure should be like this. Expressive writing is the total opposite. It's really more like, this is what comes to mind. This is how I'm feeling, and I'm going to communicate it in writing. And there's that. And most of the time, when you begin writing a book, it's essential to really harness the power of expressive writing in order to get your message out in the first draft anyway. So the first draft is most of the time purely expressive writing. It's all about whatever comes to mind, writing it in any way that you feel, and it's just connecting your emotions and really putting your vision to paper as well. So another benefit of expressive writing is its therapeutic benefits. There are huge therapeutic benefits, and it can be such a powerful tool of managing stress, anxiety, and also trauma as well. So, putting our feelings into words, it helps us to gain clarity and perspective, and you can probably add your own things in addition to that as well in what it does for you on a therapeutic level. And examples of expressive writing are journaling, poetry, personal essays, even letters that you never intended to send. These are all forms of expressive writing. Now, the writer's block in itself is something that can be caused, the whole thing called the writer's block is so famous. People talk about having writer's block and feeling like they can't get their words to paper. The thing about writer's block is that it can be caused by so many things. It could be something that is just very temporary, or it could be something much deeper as well. And expressive writing, what it does, it allows you to really tap into whatever it is that's blocking you, and allow your words to flow more freely. So even though the sessions that we have together, and when we get together and when we are writing prompts in the writer's block group, might feel like they are not related to writing at all, and it's not going to help you. It's sometimes not facing the problem face on and still using the skill of writing to delve deeper into what the underlying issue is with whatever's going on in your life. A lot of our prompts are related to life. Then what that does is it really opens the floodgates for the rest of your work, and it allows you to really move through writer's block in a more holistic way. So what expressive writing can do and why it's so useful is in the writer's block, it bypasses the critical mind. And when we're focused on just getting our thoughts and emotions flowing freely, you really move past the part of your mind that is responsible for self-editing and the judging part of you. We all know that inner critic, especially as writers. It allows more creativity and exploration, and we are all about creativity and exploration. And it can lead to new ideas and help us to get past the initial hurdles of starting to write. And what it also does, the writer's block, is it processes emotions. And I spoke about all of this in what expressive writing is, but sometimes writer's block itself, it can be a sign that you're feeling stuck on something. It could be a sign that you are there's a lot of emotions that are under the surface. And what expressive writing can help you do is bring those emotions to surface, process them and these underlying emotions, and allow you to move forward with your actual writing project. And what it also does, it lowers pressure. The whole energy and the whole feeling of the writer's block, we want it to be a safe space. It's been active for 3 years, the group The Woke Writer on WhatsApp. The actual writer's block community has been active for over a year, where we have been meeting in live writing sessions. We've been doing critiques, and we're going to talk about all of that, inshallah, shortly when we talk about what to expect with the writer's block community. But we've been going on for a while. And what we have found is that it really lowers the pressure, and it's a safe space. And we've worked really hard to make this a safe space for sisters to feel like they can express themselves. And we've created guidelines. We've created we've created a handbook that can explain that a little bit more. With that, we're gonna, inshallah, just look at the handbook. But before we dive into that, does anyone have any questions? And just to let you know, this is being recorded. People might see you or hear you, inshallah. But does anyone have any questions before we dive in?
No, you pretty much answered all my questions. And I think that is so cool. And I understand why it was a paid thing before and stuff because it has so much value and stuff and everything. But alhamdulillah, may Allah reward you guys for allowing it to be free now and stuff. May Allah reward you guys for all of that and mean. And you kind of make me realize why I write, why I'm an author and everything, especially when you talked about the therapeutic benefits, because I do have trauma from my childhood. And like as a mom, I have stress. And then I do have generalized anxiety. I got diagnosed with that last year. So I'm just like, this is why when I write, it's like an outlet and stuff. It's like an outlet for me and everything and stuff. That's why Allah, blessed me with this skill because he's like, you need to write. Like this is
Oh.
something that I have blessed you with and stuff. And so that's why words may just come easy to me and stuff and everything. And I will say, if you are a writer or if you are an author, writing stuff is easier than saying it out your mouth. if anybody knows, it's so much easier because when I first got married, I was very stubborn and stuff. Like I was very stubborn. So my husband, he actually got me out of that. I'm still stubborn, he says, but so, but now I am more expressive with him and stuff. And I feel like when you are an author and a writer, you have so much emotions and stuff. Like we have so much, and it's fine. You know, we're human. We're gonna have emotions and everything. But like we're just so passionate about it that we may end up crying and stuff, like when we are expressing ourselves. And I totally understand why, like that, like everything just it just clicked and made sense. Like full circle moment. There we go. Full
Yay!
circle.
That's amazing. That's amazing, alhamdulillah. And that's such a beautiful way, just hearing your personal experiences. And you're completely right. There's a need for it. And so many of our sisters who have been a part of it, there's just this it's just when there's other sisters who are with you and they're supportive and there's this community, and we're going to release actually a podcast episode on that itself, the importance of community, because there's not a lot of Muslim sisters out there who are writers, who are like us as writers, and we feel an affinity with them. And
Yeah.
that's why we created this group, honestly, because me personally, I was looking for something like this. And I thought, you know what? Why not just make it, right? Why not just create it? If it's not there, just make
And
it. And
yep,
Bismillah.
yep, that's what I said with my book. I said it's not out here, so I have to write it. Like
Yeah.
I think alhamdulillah with our generation, I think we're starting to realize like, okay, it's not out there, so we need to do something about it. We need to make it. We need to start something. We need the change and everything. So I'm so happy and grateful that we have those advantages and stuff nowadays. Because imagine if we were born back in the day. Oh, child, women weren't even going to school and everything. We couldn't even write. Like you could not hear our voices or anything. And I understand that, people will say that a woman's voice is her arwa and all those stuff. And I know
Mm.
there's like different opinions and
Mhm.
stuff and everything. But I'm like, everything is also based off your intention. If you're covered properly from
Mhm.
head to toe, you do the seven
Mhm.
conditions of hijab, you're
Mhm.
not out here like tabarrujed up and stuff, then it shouldn't be a problem because certain women on the platforms, they are educating the women.
Yeah.
Women need to be educated, period.
So true.
We are the only ones who can have kids.
Yeah.
That's the next generation. So we have
Mm.
to make sure that we're educated on
Mm.
Islam, on our religion. We have to make sure that we are doing things that we love as women. And we have to make sure our mental health is good too, of course.
Of course.
Because if your mental health is not good, nothing will be good. Your
It's
kids won't be good, your husband won't be good, your house won't be good.
true.
And the best place for the woman is her home. So
Mhm.
if we're not right, how is our house going to be right? How are we going to be obeying Allah, following his commandments and everything? Because he says the best place for the woman is her home. How are we going to do that if we're not right up here or in our heart? So
Mhm.
we have to really, I feel like we really have to value ourselves and take care of ourselves. Just like with us taking care of everyone else, you have to take care of you. You
We
have to
do.
be selfish. There is nothing wrong with being selfish, with taking care of you. You are important. You are valued in everything. And it's so important to talk kind to yourself, to have those
Mhm.
affirmations and say to yourself every day that I am worth it. I am beautiful. I love my religion. I love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to do this with my life, so I'm going to do it. And
Mm.
it's also important to hold on to your dreams and aspirations and your goals.
Mhm.
Like, I know maybe in that moment you're not doing something that you want to do, but it may happen later on. We
Mm.
don't know. Qadar of Allah.
Mhm.
We are in this position for a reason right now.
Mm.
We don't know, but Allah knows. Allah
Mhm.
knows. So I feel like those are just things to remember. And when Muslim women need to
Mhm.
hear that and stuff.
Mm.
And I think it'll also help them with understanding Allah decree
Mm.
and everything. And I always tell people, like, if you're struggling with whatever mental health, Islamically, learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
Learn about Allah. Because once you start learning about Allah, you start understanding the qadr of Allah. You
It's
start
true.
understanding the good and bad. You are trying to, because it's hard for us to accept certain things that happen in our life. But as Muslims, we're going to have to accept it. We got to accept the good. We have to accept the bad. And that's from the 6 articles of faith, one of the foundations
That's true.
of.
So, Sister Atia, that's beautiful, mashallah.
I'm sorry, I'm
I
talking
want to
too much.
continue this,
Yeah.
inshallah, after, but I
Yes.
do want to ask anyone else if they have any questions right now. And then we're going to go into a little bit more about the handbook, and then we're going to have a sample session where you are going to be able to write a little bit more and then share as well, inshallah. So, Sister Kia, did you have any questions?
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to know if we know of anybody who we think would be good for the group.
Mm-hmm.
Can we add them to the group? Should we let you know and then you can
Yes.
reach out to them?
That's a great question. So we do have an email, and the email is COMMUNITY. So it's community@strangeincorporated.org. Now, you can also email the email that we sent to you, hello@strangeincorporated.org. You can email either one of them and just send us their information. As long as they are women, as long as they are Muslim and they want to be a part of the group, then they are more than welcome to join us, inshallah. So, does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. So now I am going to share a little bit about the handbook, and I'm going to do a quick screen share. Bismillah, let me see. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, so this is the handbook. This is the Writer's Block membership handbook. Can everyone see it? Can? Okay, brilliant. So, Bismillah, Bismillah. So, our official values as an organization, before we go into that, we have a mission, we have a vision, and we have our values as an organization. So, our mission is elevating the authentic voices of Muslim women. The vision is a world where the genuine and unique perspectives of Muslim women are valued and appreciated. So we do have values which go with this. If you checked out our website, it is all up there as well. But these are our main values. We're faith-based. We value integrity. We value community, remedy, and authenticity. And those three values at the bottom are really the guiding factors of the writer's block in itself. Faith-based and integrity is, of course, a part of that as well. So everything together is just why this program exists as part of Strange Incorporated. Now, Strange Incorporated is a nonprofit publishing house. We are, like I said, we're nonprofit and we are focused on writing, and that is our mission and our vision as well for Muslim women specifically. We do have a preamble, and what our preamble for the writer's block is: in our pursuit of creativity, healing, and empowerment, we, the Muslim women writers, come together as the writer's block community. We refer to ourselves as the woke writers, being conscious in every aspect of our internal and external lives. So to be woke is to live with intention. It is embracing our ultimate purpose of worshiping our Lord, our big why. It is to unite every fiber of our being in growth, guided by the love of God, Allah, making every step an act of worship and every word a part of our big why. So there is some more information in the preamble, and I'll finish with the finishing paragraph. And inshallah, I will be sending this to all the members of the Writer's Block, inshallah. And welcome to the Writer's Block. It is a sacred space where our words become instruments of healing, guided by the light of our faith. And together we embark on a transformative journey, leaving an incredible mark on the world through our writing as an embodiment of the woke woman, inshallah, and creating our greatest masterpieces. So there are certain pledges that we create, and you can, inshallah, read it with this as well. But it's all about really just being authentic and true to ourselves. I know that term is thrown around a lot, but what we mean by that is these 6 things. So the first one is that I will accept the truth with sincerity. This can be the truth about yourself. It can be the truth about your writing. It can be any truth. But as long as you are writing with the intention of being true, and no one is going to force you to carry out this pledge. This is the pledge that we make to ourselves. The second part is that I will visualize my spiritual and writing goals. The third part is I will work with myself lovingly, like Sister Atia mentioned, subhanAllah. And the fourth one is I will improve myself in increments. The fifth one is I will have role models where I can look up to and learn from. And inshallah, we do plan to incorporate a lot more people in Strange Ink in itself to offer their professional advice, their expert advice in the writing world to offer to our Muslim sisters as well. And number 6 is I will not compare myself to others. This is my journey and I follow my path. And those are really our guiding principles in this. It's all about you. It's all about growth. It's all about supporting one another. It's all about collaboration, which is why this is a member-led organization. And the format of this program is inspired by so many other formats that we've looked into. One of them is a support group, Alcoholics Anonymous support group. They do virtual sessions like this. They create things like this. They have a certain format, and we follow that as well to a certain extent. But we have our own little twist to it as well. So we do have a blueprint. I'm not going to say all of that right now, but the blueprint is really all about inspiration. It's all about being inspired. It's all about what we want and what we want our work to be, heart-led and guided as well by faith, and really those principles we spoke about. And there are certain policies, and like I said, you are going to receive a copy of this, inshallah, so you can have a look at the policies and you can just have a look at them. The main policies are to have respectful interaction with one another. The second one is considerate behavior, and the third one is embracing diversity and also confidentiality. That's very important because we know a lot. In fact, we're going to have a sample session very soon, inshallah. And we're not going to be sharing that. The recording will be off for that, because a lot of the information that we share, a lot of the writing that we share can be very personal. And we don't really want to share that with anyone except our small group, inshallah. And as a respect for that, we keep the information that we speak about confidential between just the members. So for example, if a member shares something, it's so important not to go to someone else and say, well, this person said this and this person said, just out of respect for that interaction and embracing that person as well and what they are sharing. So that's confidentiality. Another one is accountability and learning. So we all make mistakes, and we have created the sessions in a format where they are guided by a certain structure. So for example, there is a certain time limit for every person to write. It might be, depending on how many people are here, it might be 5 minutes of writing, and then there'll be a 3-minute timeline to share. And if it goes over the 3 minutes, we have to stop that, and then we move on to the next person. And that is just to keep the integrity of this space, and so everyone can have that feeling of, okay, now it's my turn, and we can appreciate that as well. Another policy is there is a scholarship pilot period. You don't have to worry about that. We did have that before. That's a future model, inshallah. We don't need to worry about that. And also attendance is, because it is free, we also want to let you know that it's important, inshallah, to have a community, right? So you don't always have to be here. It's up to you totally, but this is a resource for you and it is available to you. So if you choose to enjoy that resource, then we would be grateful, because that's why we are creating it. So inshallah, just hopefully you can make the most of that and share it with someone who you feel would really benefit from it as well. And inshallah, we want to continue this resource because we have found that it is really healing. It is so important and it's powerful as well. So yes, there are no additional policies at this moment, but there might be amendments in the future. We do have a sharing protocol, and I'll finish on this before we actually do a sample session, inshallah. But the sharing protocol is that it's optional. You don't have to do this. We do say something, the woke writer. You don't have to say that. But the idea of the woke writer is writing with meaning. It's writing with consciousness. And before you speak, woke writer Aisha, and then you share something, and that signals that it's your turn to share. But again, you do not have to do that. It is optional. However, what we do try and do all the time after someone shares is either the leader, the person who is the keeper of the session, will say, "We hear you." You can say it out loud or you can say it to yourself, but the keeper will always say, "We hear you," after somebody shares. And the reason why we do that is because we want this to be a place where people share, and we don't want to give feedback, because sometimes feedback isn't always helpful, especially with the model that we go with, expressive writing. It's all about being heard. It's all about a safe space. And sometimes the advice, even though it is helpful in another context, for these sessions, we found that it's so much more empowering and it's so much more inspirational when we say, "We hear you." So that's how we react to a person. We say, "We hear you," and that's it. Even though you really want to say more, we do have a session at the end, like a segment of the session at the very end, where there's a very small discussion where we give feedback. We have the option to give feedback, and then you can even stay after and give that feedback as well. So we write for 5 minutes, and it could be more as well, depending on how many people are joining us. And we share for 3 minutes. It's always 3 minutes, even if it's one person, even if it's 2 people, even if it's 10 people, just so everyone gets a chance to share as well. And you do not always have to share. The fourth thing is the person leading the circle is called the keeper. This person is not a leader. They are not someone who is a leader, a leader. But what it is it's an equal participant in the session. So that's why this is a member-led session. Everyone is equal. Everyone is working towards a common goal as well. We try to move away from agendas. We want it to be something that is calm, which is healing, as we said so many times. And they don't try and move the group towards a personal agenda. It's about the group as a whole. And we serve to engage in an atmosphere of exploration and not persuasion. We're not trying to persuade anyone of our beliefs. We're not trying to persuade anyone of anything. The idea is that there's a topic here. We're here for a reason. We are here to express ourselves. And of course, it is according to the values of Islam. We are an Islamic organization. We're faith-led. And each of us will respect that as well, I'm sure. So the keeper facilitates the topic of writing. They choose the participants to share who volunteer themselves to share, and they make sure that really the guidelines are followed. These are the guidelines. And there is also an optional affirmation that we say at the end, and that is where we put our hands on our hearts. If you listen to the Strange Ink show, we always put our hands on our hearts and we say, "My voice has power." That's our slogan at Strange Ink. And it's recognizing the strength of our collective and our individual voices as well. Now, as with everything, there are consequences as well, and we all kind of like brace at the word consequences, but in order for something to function optimally, it's important to have certain boundaries, and that's why we have this sharing protocol as well. So the consequences are to maintain a safe and respectful space. Any kind of breach of these guidelines will be addressed promptly. Consequences for not sticking to the guidelines, it might include a 45-second timeout. It will include a 45-second time out for everyone to reset and go back into a safe emotional state. And some of these things, like, for example, we spoke about the policies. So say if someone says something very mean to someone, we're going to do a timeout. If it continues, we're going to have to ask the person to leave. And then because the favor and the focus is on all of us together as well. And we understand that people have to express themselves, but there is a time and a place, and this time and place is for our community as a whole. And the timeout allows members to reflect on their actions and encourages a lot of self-awareness as well. We prioritize the well-being and comfort of every individual within the Writer's Block community. We want it to be a space of growth, support, and empowerment for all of us. So that's a sharing protocol. Now, this is the structure, and I'm going to, inshallah, actually switch off the recording, and I want to show you the structure rather than tell you the structure. And the reason why is because showing is so much more powerful than telling, and then you'll get a feel for it as well. Now, the structure is once a month, a live writing session, which is like this. It's a Zoom session, except instead of doing the introductory session, talking about who we are and what we do, what we do instead is the sample session we're about to do. So we'll share writing prompts, we'll have a mindfulness moment, and inshallah, we share writing prompts as well. We also have a peer review session. So anyone who has a manuscript of at least 5,000 words, you can have less, but no more than 5,000 words, you can submit it to an email address, which is at the bottom of this handbook, and you will lead the session. So the author will lead the session of their own critique. We do have guidelines for the critique session, but the idea there is initiative, assertiveness, and it shows that, you know, if you want to have a session, there's a certain aspect of responsibility there as well, and you get to lead your own session, you get to ask all the questions that you want. If there's something that you feel unsure about in your writing, you can focus on that, and it's very empowering to be able to do that as well. And we also have weekly writing prompts. We have weekly writing prompts based on the Islamic theme of the month. So the theme of Shawwal, we're in the Islamic month Shawwal, is endurance. And we're going to be doing a couple of writing prompts based on endurance in this session, inshallah. Now, with no further ado, I am going to stop the recording. For those of you who are watching and listening, really hope you can really hope you can join us in the writer's block. And we hope that this was informational for you. If you have any questions, you can email us at community@strangeincorporated.org. Alternatively, you can email us on hello@strangeincorporated.org if you're interested in joining this community, and we will send you all the information, inshallah, God willing. So now I am going to stop the share, inshallah,